It was good, everybody. My name is Leo. I'm 18 years old, and this is week 6 of me building my first AI project. And so last week, I showed you guys that we were now able to add multiple events at once using the AI chat. We were also able to update and delete those events, like multiple events at once. But now, this week, we've actually managed to go backward in progress because I pretty much figured that my previous sort of like AI thinking system was not really what I was looking for, and it wasn't really efficient, sort of. Let me explain to you guys. Last week, I showed you that when the user inputted a message, well, that message would then get sent to a model, so like ChatGPT, and we gave that model a big prompt, so sort of like instruction on how to act. And so based on like the user input and all of those instruction, it would then be able to like sort of like decide where does the user want to go with that input. So the first model call or AI call was basically just a sort of like a guide. So it would say like, okay, well the user just want to chat. Okay, well just respond to him normally. Or okay, the user want to create a single event. Well then call that tool, which is a function that would create a single event, or create multiple event, which would then call not other LLM, which would then parse multiple events to create them using that single create function. And so I figured that the sort of like LM at the middle, it was completely useless. Sorry, useless, because why would I want to call another LLM and give him sort of like the same context and just give him like a sort of goal, which is pretty much just the original message, but like better formulated. And so like, why would I want to do that? Why wouldn't be the actual agent itself be able to do everything and use certain tool to actually do it? And what I mean by that is now, um, so I deleted everything, every AI part that I did. I deleted it, and I started from zero. And so what I did is now the actual AI call is inside of a loop. And so that loop, it loops forever until the agent say, well, okay, stop, I had enough. And so by doing that, we actually like sort of replicate the reasoning of like a normal human being, let's say. Because previously what we had was just like, okay, we call the AI, yeah, would then just like create that, just choose a path to go, and then if it was like multiple event, then we would get sent into that other LM call, which would then create multiple events, and then it would be the end. But now, using that loop, that agentic loop, well, we can now like reason that process and say to the AI, well, are you sure that what you did right now, because you know that you can give instruction to the AI on how to behave. And so now I ask him to like, well, you got to check what you did, and sort of like, okay, well, I did that. Does it actually correspond to what the user wanted? And if not, well, maybe I can adjust that a little. I can delete sort of events, and then I can like re-ask myself, is it okay now? And if so, then you output a message to the user in where you say to him like, yeah, it's okay. Uh, I've added your tree study lesson, for example. And so for the actual multiple events or single events, it's not really as useful as for the plan part where you will be able to plan your study session for exams and everything. And so that's why the previous way was like it was sort of like overcomplicated for nothing. And I just got to the point where I figured by myself like why do I want to do like sort of like sub agent if I can only do it in an agent. I sort of like underestimated how how much the actual model could actually like understand and process. And so yeah, so I deleted everything. I redid it. Uh, I inserted the AI call inside of a loop. So it's a while true loop. And so when the agent feel like okay, well, it's enough. I've reasoned enough. Well, then he call it a stop, and so it stopped the loop. So that's pretty much where I am right now. And so because I removed I removed the part for the other LLM because now it's just condensed inside of one structure prompt. Well, there's some missing information on how this new sort of like agent should behave because now I have to like instruct him on that. Well, you're looping and you're giving information to yourself. So by calling tools, well, you can alter like sort of that prompt, that original prompt. Because for example, if you create other events, then those events would get displayed at the top of that prompt. And yeah, so that's sort of like where I am right now, and there's a lot of flaws on the actual prompt itself because yeah, I have a lot to learn on prompting in general and the structure. It's like you gotta understand it really clearly inside of your brain to actually be able to write it up and to make the model understand it because as you know that model is stateless, and so you have to give him a clear context on what he is each time. And yeah, so right now it's pretty much I'm just pretty much just prompting and trying to find a perfect like prompt for him to understand what he is, and yeah, basically just understand all the flow on how he's supposed to be thinking everything. And I think that's why right now it's sort of like sometime I would ask him to like I asked last week to create multiple events. Well, now it would maybe create not a single event, or also yesterday I had a he started to create an event, but he started to create it like multiple times, and since it was looping, well, he created that event 11 times, but I only asked him once. So that's sort of like sometimes he don't know what's going on, and that's really the prompting where I have to instruct him on how to act and everything. Also, there's like some part where, of course, you need to add like some sort of securities, so you will not loop like for infinity. But yeah, and also another part which I've been really struggling is the actual memory part. So like I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna do like a little graph of what's going on right now. So currently, I have three type of memory inside of my database. The first one is the plan memory. Okay. After that, we have the user memory, which would be like pretty much sort of like every memory that is useful but cannot be categorized inside of plan memory, or the other one, which is preferences. And so I have these three memories. I also have a session memory, which is basically um, is basically like I send a message, you respond, it sends a message back, it respond, it just get appends each time to just to follow the conversation flow, and that's basically what session memory is. But that session memory for now gets reset every time you reload the app. And so for now, I don't even know what I'm gonna be doing because I'm like thinking like, okay, should it be like, should I save all of those conversation, or should they be like, do we really need those, the entirety of their conversation? I was thinking of maybe in user input right there to actually sort of like create a LLM call where it will be, its only purpose would be to like sort good memories. Yeah. So like for example, if the user inside of a conversation once he say like, oh well, my goal this year is to like be at the top of my class. Oh well, that information goes right to user memory, and the type would be goal, and the value would be b top, let's say top of the class, but top class, like that. So yeah, I'm thinking I will maybe try that, but still, I think the part that is really important right now is to actually have to make myself a good, well structured plan instead of just trying some random stuff. And I think doing a really good plan will be way more efficient. So I think my focus this week is going to be on not even like coding and doing stuff. It's just going to be on thinking. Yeah. And so there's also preferences with, which would be like a study hour. Like I prefer to study at 6 p.m. or some stuff like that. How many times? How many times a week? Let's say. And so originally I was thinking of like the AI actually adding some preferences in its value. So key value like how many hour does you want to study? That would be the key, and the value would be like, oh well, 3 to 6, and then you would just add those and create some new key each time. But my dad actually told me, well, maybe if you try to add some predefined preferences, it would actually be better because now you would know like, you would like sort of limit the agent of creating like some random ass memory of like some preferences, sorry, of like yeah, I like to eat broccoli. Like why would you want to know that? Like yeah, it's cool, it's your user preferences, but it's not actually a real preferences linked to the schedule. And yeah, you could like sort of like say in the prompt, well, don't accept preferences which are not linked to the schedule. But if you say like yeah, in my schedule I like to brush my teeth, well, okay, not relevant. So that's why I'll try to do what he said to me, where I have some predefined preferences and see where that leads me. And if it fails, well, I will have learned something there. And finally, we have the play memory, which is also a part where I'm not even sure of what I'm doing and if it's a good idea. But I was thinking of like saving each plan for each exam, or having a general plan. That's where I'm like sort of struggling. Like, should I have a general plan of like what I want to do this year? What is my goal as a student? Or maybe have a plan for each exam coming up. And it's like sort of like a plan for math, a plan for English. Because as you know, well, maybe math requires way much study times and different like preferences and parameters for your study plan than English, which maybe requires like way less, like 1 hour a week. And so that's where I think maybe I'll try to do multiple plan memory. And what's cool is that those plan memory there, like it's, for example, we have our plan plan math exam, well, we could maybe link that plan memory to certain events. And so by linking those, well, when we would want to actually adjust that plan and give feedback to the model, well, it would be able to see the previous events that he did and adjust for the next step. And yeah, so that's pretty much all for this week because right now I'm thinking and I'm sort of like experiencing some different strategy. But I think yeah, this week I'll really focus on creating a new plan and creating like a new structure plan for the memory itself. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for this week, guys. And so thank you for listening to that. And yeah, I hope to see you guys next week. And have a good day.